Mandii here with another Funko Pop review. This time we have the Jurassic Park 25th anniversary featuring Dr. Alan Grant and Dr. Ian Malcolm. And I also have with me today a guest, like always, which seems to often appear, is
Miss Transformers 96 here.
Yep.
Oh, yes. So yeah, we've had some new Jurassic Park figures, of course. We made a collection video with the Jurassic Park series, and we mentioned that we'd be doing individual reviews. We've decided to group the humans together with doing a review of Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm in one, and then doing Dennis and Hammond in another. So
yeah. So I think out of the sets, I think this one's my favorite. With the grouping, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The grouping set that we're doing, just because I like Grant and Malcolm a lot. They're like my favorite characters out of the whole thing.
I have quite a soft spot for Dennis, so I kind of love Dennis. But as a set, these two are definitely the better ones, I'd say.
Yeah, and I definitely like what I see. I like the design of the pops themselves, because if you look closely, they do have a bunch of detailing, but also on the box has a lot of detailing too, because you don't just have the Jurassic Park logo up here. On the sides here, if you look very closely at the border, you do have like the fossils of the dinosaurs kind of hidden within, and I think that's a very nice little touch of detail.
Yeah, it looks very good detail-wise. I like the colors on it too. The red with the different shades of gray with, you know, the outline of yellow, and it fits the Pop logo itself too. It really matches, so I like that quite nicely.
Yeah, I really do like how they kind of overall themed it. I also like the art too. I feel like the characters very much scream. Like, they're very true to, like, I can, like, look at these outside a box and tell you easily who they are.
Yeah, true.
So I feel like they are, you know, pretty much on the nose. And I like when you have a character that you can take out a box and just display as is, and everyone knows who it is, and it's not like trying to second guess, and it's not too generic.
Yeah, every now and then some Funko Pops are a little generic, but yeah, these two really do, you know, completely capture the characters themselves, which is nice. Yeah. Great artwork on the sides.
And you can also see all of that, like, fossil work and stuff, which is really cool. I like the lettering here, though. I wish they would have kept that lettering in the front like they did with Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah, they totally should have. That would be really cool.
Because this is kind of like the Jurassic Park font, so I wish they would have had that on the front just to kind of give it more of a customized kind of touch to it.
Yeah, that would be very nice. And here's the rest of the assortment. We've made individual reviews for the T-Rex, Velociraptor, as well as the Dilophosaurus. Here's our review of Grant and Malcolm, and stay tuned for the Hammond and Dennis ones.
Yeah, and then just as a side note, if you've checked out our T-Rex video that we've done, have we done that one yet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just as a heads up, one thing we have noticed with the T-Rex pop, would you like to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, the T-Rex that I do have it on display on its base, and it's so heavy that it kind of has bent the ankle on the one that's pegged in, so now he's just like leaning forward, which is very annoying. So definitely watch out for that, because now if I took him off the base, he wouldn't be able to stand up at all. So I think that I'll have to heat up the ankle and, you know, freeze it where it's a little bit further back, and then maybe just display him display him at an angle a bit so that he's more balanced, which is definitely a shame, you know. I wish that the plastic was a little stronger to prevent that, or had him posed in a different sense, so that he was...
a second peg in the other foot maybe would have helped.
Yeah, that would have helped. It still might, would have given it some extra support. Yeah, that would have been actually pretty perfect. So it's definitely a shame, but it is fixable, but it definitely is something that shouldn't have to be fixed.
Yeah, just a heads up for any of those who have picked that pop-up and plan to display it outside of box. Just something that we've been noticing and felt like we should warn the viewers, kind of let them know in advance.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's get these figures out of package. What do you say?
Yeah, super excited.
Let's do it.
So here we have Alan and Ian outside of the packaging, and one of like my first paint is always a pet peeve of mine, I guess you can say. Alan here not looking so great with paint.
Yeah? What do you oh man, oh yeah.
If you look, you have the brown paint of the belt on the pants leg, but also his hat's kind of messy too, if you look at his hat. Yeah, around the rim where the brown band, it's kind of everywhere-ish, and you have some really light kind of markings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily like, it's just eh. And then of course the raptor claw, like at first I thought that was like what's gonna bug me is that fact that that raptor claw isn't fully completely painted. I'm impressed that this hand here is like pretty well painted and that this one here it annoys me with that like, a little bit.
Definitely.
The shoes again, that one it's okay. It's not like the best paint.
Bleeding there.
There is some bleeding. Other than that,
around this like right here, like the bottom of his pocket. I mean, it should be brown, but they kind of just painted the entire bottom of that section gray, which looks a little odd.
I think maybe that was a sculpt issue, maybe? Who knows? But then, like, on the back, you still have a little bit of that brown on the shirt and everything, too. Hairline looks pretty decent, and the line around the hat, like, where the hat connects with the, pop itself, the hair, it's not that bad. Whoops. It's not that bad. It actually looks nice. Normally that's where I look for, like around the ear here, it's not quite painted right. This one I'm definitely gonna probably have to figure out and do some touch-ups just to like clean it up a little. Even his, like, okay, I can give you, like, of course I'm picky, but I will give like some lenience because if you look at the bow tie, the red, you can't really see it. There's not enough light. But it's not necessarily fully painted, but
you do have a blue splotch there.
I will give them leniency because that's like really hard to get to.
Yeah, so paint on E and on Alan is a little lacking.
Here we now have Malcolm. We're gonna focus on the other side, and I feel like he's better painted, but that's because it's like very flat. There's not a lot of like color to him. You can see on his ear the paint from the tan to the black kind of mix in with each other. It's not too bad, especially what we've seen on Alan. Definitely isn't like the worst paint job. And if you do pick up Malcolm and you're really picky about paint, I would focus on the glasses just because the glasses are clear mold in which they paint over the black, and you can see where they either miss areas on the inside or they've went over into the lens. And the glasses actually, they have made an indent in the pop's head to attach the glasses to, and there is that kind of bridge in the middle to keep them up from the face as well. So that's kind of one thing I would mention just to like look out for if you're picky about paint. Other than that, it looks like if you keep it in box, you're not really going to notice the ring, but the ring definitely could be a little bit better painted just because it's not fully covering the ring mold, and the necklace is really well painted. So it doesn't seem like this pop particular, at least the one I have, doesn't necessarily have issues with detail, like paint-wise.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think that the necklace is very impressive because that's a very small silver detail with the kind of turquoise color, and it really looks great. Like, I don't see any issue with that. The ring doesn't even bother me too much. You can definitely see it's not completely covering the thing, but I'd rather have it be a little bit off rather than it going into the fingers. So I do think that that looks decent. I like the variations as far as black. He's got a much shinier, glossier black paint on the jacket and shoes. Gives some definition there and gives you a bit of a look at texture as well.
It does break it up, so at least it's not like just flat black paint. They could have been lazy and just did a flat black on it all, but I'm glad they did do some kind of matte for the jeans or like for the pants. And the silver buckle really kind of helps make like the outfit pop a little bit, and he does have silver on his shoes. It does look like the silver on the buckling of his shoes are a little bit sloppy, because they either don't like really cover the whole buckle, or they like kind of cover where they're supposed to, but not really. It's kind of weird. But it's the least of my complaint because I wasn't really focusing on that. I wasn't focusing on his feet when I was looking at paint. I was more focusing on the rest of his body.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's so small of a detail, and because it's silver on black, you can't really see the mold as easily. So that doesn't necessarily, annoy me.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I do like the sculpting of the hair. He has quite a flow to it, which I think is very cool. It's nice to see how Pop handles long hair, and I kind of like the design of it. As far as the paint on the hair, it's all just a flat black. They haven't gone with any definition there as far as different painting colors, but I do like the texture of the hair.
I really feel like you don't need to go with any... Like, I always feel like with dark black hair or something like that. I feel like whatever black they use, the kind of matte, it catches the light so well. I don't think you need any definition because it gives it natural highlights and makes that mold pop. Because I even know on other like figures that we have that are just that flat black, it really kind of highlights well.
Okay. That's
so nice. I feel like you don't necessarily need it for this one. Like, if it was in box and the light doesn't hit it well enough, then I can see it being kind of flat. But I feel like when you definitely have it outside a box, the light plays well on the mold.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally agree with that. So overall, these two figures from the Jurassic Park line, Alan and Malcolm, I think they're pretty solid. I think that out of the human figures, these are the two best ones to get. Not only, well, I think a lot because of their character, they're the best ones to get.
Yeah, definitely ones that I'm, like, I was really excited to look, like, finding and getting. My favorite characters, I would definitely suggest reading the books too because the books are really great and they show a lot of character in them as well. But they're really enjoyable pops to have, and I like the figures, the sculpt, the stance, because they really, I feel like they didn't do a whole lot, but they did enough to really make these special.
Yeah, I do like them quite a bit. Very excited to see the new Malcolm coming out, which is Target exclusive, which means it's going to be insanely difficult to get. However, it looks fantastic, and we will attempt to get it. That's for sure.
Sadly, that's the one I have to have in my life, and of course, sadly, it's the one that's going to Target. Yeah. And then also, we're going to try to get a hold of Ellie Sandler in the Jeep as well.
Oh yeah, that should be coming out probably within the month. Yeah, it's a shame that it's getting released so far after the regular line, but eventually it'll come out, and we do plan to pick that one up. We also have reviews coming up for Dennis as well as Hammond, so stay tuned for that. We've already reviewed all the dinosaurs, so feel free to check out those videos.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you know where to leave them.
And thanks so much for watching.